So, yeah.
That's how every woman should act, right? Their eyes should only be on that side. Are we live on your?
Yes. And all you gotta do, wave. There you go. Then try to move. See if it follows.
Is it?
I'm
I'm on the camera.
Yeah, you are on the camera. Okay, no, you didn't. Try it. Just there you go. And try it now. There it goes.
Okay, great. It was very smoothly.
Yeah.
Okay, got a number of people logged in. Fantastic. And can everyone hear me who is remote? Somebody? Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? So CARD did release the January sales report, as a matter of fact, and I thought I'd just briefly go over it with you. I'm just going to touch upon Orange County. Does anybody know what the median sales price is? How do we define the median sales price? As we always hear, median or average or mean sales price. So the median sales price is the selling price that falls in the middle. So if we have 7 properties that sold, you're going to line them up from lowest to highest, and you're going to choose number 4. Now, if you have 8 properties, you're going to choose properties 4 and 5 and divide that by 2. And that's going to be the median sales price. As opposed to what the average or mean sales price is, we would add everything together and divide it by the total count. Now that could be skewed because you could have a property that sells for $500,000 and another property that sells for $30 million. So that's why the median sales price tends to be a better indicator of price action in the marketplace. So I just thought you'd find this interesting. January 2023 for Orange County, the median sales price was $1,194,500. December 2022, $1,131,760. The median sales price for January of 2022 was $1,195,000. So the month-to-month price change went up 5.5%, interestingly enough, from December to January. And then year to year, it was virtually flat, 0%. The month-to-month sales change was down 20.5%, and the year-to-year change was down 35.6%. Big drop in regards to what activity consists of. And then the unsold inventory index in Orange County for January 2023 was 3.1 months. That's how much inventory we have on the market. And if we absorb it all, it's going to take 3.1 months to sell all the property. In December, it was only 2.4 months. January of 2022 is 1.6 months. Now, the median time on the market for Orange County in January was 30 days on the market. It's still exceptionally fast in regards to how quickly inventory is moving. December of 2022 was 23 days on the market for the average time. And then January 2022, the average days on the market, anybody guess? 8 days. Yeah, so it's gone up substantially, but it's still a really quick absorption period. And inventory has not grown that dramatically. And that's why the prices continue to hold up. Now, we're going to continue to see that. That's a good question. I think it's a function of rates right now. We've witnessed rates going up substantially in the last week or two, as a matter of fact, so that's not going to be helpful. And then, Sarah, do you have any information in regards to what rates are currently today?
Hi, Rich. Yeah, I do. As Rich had said, rates have gone up. inflation numbers are still coming in higher. They are still anticipating that there'll be a 0.25% increase in March Fed meeting as well as May, and maybe even one more in June. So on a conforming scenario, so this is again anything up to 726,200. The rates are a range of 5.999% to 6.375%, with 0 to 1 points being charged. High balance, so this is anything up to 1,089,300, 6.375 to 6.75%. And then your jumbo, so anything over the high balance is around 6.25 to 6.5%. So to kind of give you guys some context, the last time I gave a rate increase for conforming, the rates were ranging from 5.5 to 5.875%, and high balance was around 5.875 to 6.25%. So definitely an increase.
High balance loans are priced more competitively today versus anything that's not a Fannie Mae product, so it seems.
No, jumbo is competitive.
I'm sorry. The jumbo
6.25 to 6.5, yeah. High balance is 6.375 to 6.75.
The jumbo product. Thank you for
Yeah.
correcting me. Great. Thanks, sir. I appreciate that. Now, our guest speaker today is Tony Bried. I'm going to read his credentials, as a matter of fact. Certified trainer, Paperless Pro Certified, RPR Certified Trainer, E-Pro Senior Technology Trainer. He's with Orange County Realtors. He's here to talk about OneHome today. Tony, welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much,
I'm
sir.
going to wave. Tony has the coolest camera he brought. It will follow you, as a matter of fact. So I need to sign off while Tony takes over.
There you go. Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, because you're brand new or what have you, my name is Anthony. I work here at Orange County Realtors. Been here now for a little over 20 years. Started off in the MLS department. So guaranteed I'll speak to everybody regarding rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. What I'm also involved with is our outreach program. Our outreach program is designed to come out here to your office or be on cyber, as we're doing today, where we're both hybrid, to give you training on all your tools. I train on MLS, from basic searches to add, modify listings, to creating CMAs, all that fun stuff. I also train on zipForms, as Mr. Moore had indicated. I'm a zipForm certified trainer, so I show you how to put together the transactions electronically, how to digitally sign them, all that fun stuff, and the advanced tools that zipForms has to offer. By the way, I know Leo was here last month going over the zipForm update, so hopefully you all are excited about the new version of zipForms scheduled to be fully released and in the next couple of months. And of course, I love training on tech. I love showing agents how they can utilize their technology tools to better your real estate lives. My whole goal, as some of you have probably heard me say, is to go paperless. And usually what I mean by that is maybe not get rid of paper fully, but maybe get rid of enough of it to make your lives a lot easier. Using your phones, tablet devices, all that fun stuff to make your transactional lives a lot easier. Okay. So today what we're going to go over is the Agent OneHome portal. Now, just real quickly, a show of hands. How many people have their clients set up on auto emails? Anybody? 2, 3. Excellent. And of course, out in Cyberland, nobody has any clients set up. Well, that's sad. So, as you may or may not know, when you go through the auto email process, your clients go through this new product that was released about 2 years ago called OneHome. This is now the new version of being able to access property data quickly and easily. Well, you may or may not know that you as an agent actually have access to their portal through what they call the Agent OneHome portal. Now, there's some other things that you can do in here, but real quickly, if I can share my screen, and I see that there are some questions, and of course, you get a certain age, you got to start wearing reading glasses anymore. So here I can look at a couple of chats. Yes, excellent, Marianne, awesome. I'm just going to share my screen. And when you start sending out properties on a regular basis through an auto email, back here on your dashboard, if you scroll down, there is a choice here called Agent OneHome or OneHome agent portal. And what this is going to allow you to do at a quick glance, look at all your contacts and all your clients that you have set up on an auto email. Now, what's super cool about this is that here we can preview a client's account and see what properties they've got, what properties they can they've been looking at, what they've liked, what they disliked, the areas, maybe even their own personal searches that they've set up for themselves. Because you may or may not know that a client can actually set up their own search because you've given them access to the MLS. Now, what they can't do is contact the listing agent. This will only give them the client reports. So when they click on a property to view it, and hopefully I can do that here. There we go. They're just going to see some amazing information about this property. Not only can they look at the photos, they look at the for sale price, they can actually add in notes to write to you about this property, which is all going to be set up and sent to you via email as well as in the MLS. They can compare properties. They can look at the market insights, the bedroom, bathrooms, property description, some features, some details about the property, all public information. You may or may not know this, but what I love also about the OneHome already pre-vets the schools. So how many agents have gone into the MLS to look at a property for a client that might have children, and in that listing, there are no schools listed. It only lists the school district. Well, here, the system automatically vets the schools for them. So even if the listing agent didn't put the schools on their listing, the system already pre-vets it based on the school district and the property location. So this is kind of nice. So get familiar with what your clients are seeing, right? Travel time, this is great. Geez, if I really want this property, how long will it take me to get to my job? Everybody wants to know that. They think a 5-minute car trip is two hours, right? Who wants to live only 5 minutes from work? Almost everybody, especially gas prices are going up now, right? Yes, all right. Here we got public record data, upcoming open house information, and of course, your information at the very bottom as well as the top about the property. So agents can now see all this information that your clients should be seeing and looking at. As a matter of fact, there's also a couple of things that you can do to help out your clients, and that's set them up on a planner, giving them tasks, what they can do. Now, one of the nice things about this OneHome portal or the Agent OneHome portal, there will be a choice. And if you haven't done this yet, what you want to do is that when you get to your Agent OneHome portal, I want you to move your mouse, and I'm going to minimize the camera there. Come over to the top right side where you see your initials. And there should be a choice somewhere. Maybe they moved it. It looks like because I already turned it on. There should be a choice that says setting up your preferences. Now you would go, well, what's that? How many of you feel that you're pretty dialed into your clients? Anybody? Like you know exactly what they're looking for. They've told you everything that they want. And even though you're setting up a search in the MLS, they still seem to reject the ones that you think that they are going to want to like, right? Well, when we look at this information, there is a feature here, and this is going to be really subtle, and hopefully this will come up. Under the property, there's a percentage mark here. This is their home preference or their match. So there's a feature that you can set up in the Agent OneHome portal that when you turn it on, this gives the capability of the client to actually really dive down to see the properties that you're sending them are actually almost close to 100% match of what they're looking for. Now, once you turn that button on, what will happen is that when the client goes in to their portal, and let me see if I can get to that. Oops, wrong computer. Once they do that, Then they will go into their portal in their email. And to turn that on officially for them, they're going to move their mouse over towards the right-hand corner where they see their initials. Whoops. And there is a choice here called property fit. It's called property fit preferences. When they click on that, they're now going to hit change, and now they're going to answer a whole bunch of questions. First thing, question number 1. By the way, it's only 10 questions in total. What type of home do you like? A newer home or an older home? So, young lady, what home out of these two would you like?
I like the one with the right.
The one on the right. Excellent. Next, what's the most important feature that you're looking for in a new home? Outdoor space, or you love staying indoors? Outdoor space. Excellent. What are you looking for in your home? Open concept, or do you prefer the traditional?
Well, for the ceiling, like high ceilings.
So would that be more traditional or more modern? The left. Excellent. Do you want a garage, or do you mind parking on the street, like here in Irvine? Garage, of course. Why? Because extra space. I can maybe turn it into an ADU very, soon. Who knows? Do you prefer a smart home, or does that matter to you?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Excellent. Do you prefer it to be green or not green?
Green.
Green. Excellent. And of course, do you want a large lot or a smaller lot?
Larger lot.
Larger lot. Excellent. You don't have a house yet. All right. And then look, you're done. So guess what? The client has set this up. So now when they start looking at properties and getting these properties, they're going to get this percentage that appears to say that the homes that you as the agent are sending to them, is it a close match to exactly what they're looking for? Because how often would you know as an agent that they're looking for an open concept or a traditional style house or green features in a house? They're not always going to tell you that, but at least you give them an opportunity that both you and them can see that the properties that you're sending to them are closer matches. Because if there's a property that's not, oops, you see that? If there's a property that's not or well below, guess what their likelihood is going to be about this property? They're going to reject it. Now, if you happen to go into your agent portal, go into your clients, and you start to see a lot of properties that are under 50%, what are you probably going to do with that client? Not get rid of them. You're going to what? Call them up and say, hey, I noticed that the properties I'm sending to you are not fully to your desired matches. What is it that you're specifically looking for that I can maybe modify our search to start getting you properties that are well below or well above that 50%? And more likely for you to want to go see and view and maybe make an offer on. Because at what, 1.1 million as the median sales price? Interest rates are on the rise. Home prices are probably going to be on the rise because inventory is very, low. We're not going to see that change. I don't want you to lose out and miss out on these opportunities. Anybody like this? Yes.
Like if there's two and one different, you still have.
There's a choice that will say skip.
Okay.
So if it doesn't matter to them, like, oh, I don't mind if it's new or a newer looking home or a traditional home, skip. So it does give them that third option.
So do you get any discounts when they like a house that you send them? or-
Great question. Yes, you do. So if a client goes into their OneHome, and one of the instructions that I tell agents that they should do in that welcome email message and setting up an auto email is instruct them to always click on the heart icon to like a property. Okay? Because what happens at this point is that whenever you're in the MLS,
Sorry, can you minimize the banner on the right? See where you're seeing
okay. I thought this is your screen,
it?
but
Yes. Thank you.
you're welcome. Does that help?
Much better.
All right. So here, what we can do is now click on or go into the MLS. Now in the MLS, when we get to our home screen, and I love these banners, we have a widget called Recent OneHome Visitors. Now, this is key for your auto emails. If you have that open and on your home screen, you can see which client went into their auto email at what date, at what time, and what they did in their portal. So for those of you who are sending out auto emails, when was the last time you heard from your client? Yesterday, today, 5 days ago, a month ago? Anybody?
Could be months.
Could be months, right? And then all of a sudden, when you go to reach out to them, they go, oh, you know what? I ended up going with another agent and closed on another property. Aren't you upset? Yes. Why? Oh, I just thought you were just too busy for me. Right? Too much of that. NAR did a survey a couple of years ago. 70% of the real estate, or it was discovered that 72% of clients went with another agent because they felt that their agent just lost communication and lost interest. Clients want to be pursued. So how do we pursue this person? Well, geez, if I notice that Fred Durst went in at 10 this morning and selected 5 properties as his favorites, what am I going to do? I'm now going to give Fred a call and say, hey, Fred, I noticed that this morning you set up 5 properties as your favorites. Would you like me to set up some showings? And by the way, I can click on that number 5, see these 5 properties. And because I'm in the MLS, I can now see the full agent report of that listing. I see all the photos. I see all the videos, just like them, but I also see showing instruction, private remarks, everything else that I might need in order to set up the showing to this listing. So now I'm being proactive. I'm not waiting for the fish to jump in the boat. I'm now casting out my line, hooking the fish and reeling them in to hopefully get them into escrow and close that deal. Too many agents sit back and idly wait because why? They feel that they don't want to be pushy enough or that they're going to be too pushy. There's no such thing when it comes to sales. It's a fine line, yes, but for the most part, clients want to feel pursued. They want to feel important. You need to still keep that relationship solidified. Well, how do we do that? We monitor what they're seeing. We see what they're doing. And if they spend the time to like properties, then we should go out of our way to make sure that they go out and see those homes. Because that's the tough part, right? Getting them to see the home. And when they fall in love with one of these 5 homes, we now write up the offer. I know Richard or Mr. Board and Carlos and John have probably all have said that to y'all, right? Solidify that relationship. Get them out there, write up those offers, because that's the tough one.
Great feature.
It is a great feature. So, does that help, young lady, by the way? Now, if you don't know if your home screen doesn't have this widget, find this tool here called Additional Widgets. This will have all your tools in the MLS that aren't active. Simply move your mouse to that tool. So if I had, in this case, that tool closed, then I can go down to my additional widgets, find it, click and hold with my mouse, and then drag it and place it anywhere on my home screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it near the top, because near the top allows me to see things quickly and easily. And if I go through a couple of days, if I don't see anything here, and I don't know if they're opening their auto emails, come over to where it says My Matrix, a drop-down menu appears, click on Auto Emails, or I'm sorry, click on Sent Emails, sorry. And from here, I can see the dates that those emails went out, to whom, if it was an auto email or a direct email, the title, what properties went out in that email, and if they opened it or not. If they didn't open it, it will say, I don't see it here, never. If it says never, that means they didn't bother opening it, which again, what am I going to do? Give them a call and find out why. Hey, Fred, I noticed that you haven't opened my email in a few days. I noticed that there are a few properties that you might have been receiving that you're missing out on. Make sure you go into that auto email. And if they need it again, not a problem. Come back under My Matrix Auto Emails, find the auto email, and then there will be a choice that says Resend Invitation. And then within an hour, they get it and they begin to open it. If you need to modify it, under the My Matrix Auto emails, you can modify the criteria or modify how often they are to get updated about the properties. That is the OneHome portal. Are there any questions?
Can you show once more, when did you go to recent visits?
Oh,
from
the recent visits. So the recent visit, if that is not on your home screen, find it on your additional widgets tool. Find it, click and hold it, and then drag it and place it anywhere on your home screen. Because that's the nice thing about the matrix system is that we can now move these tools around and place them, the ones that we like to use the most. You're welcome. Are there any questions in Cyberland?
Actually, would you just set up a client and just go through setting up the entire procedure?
Sure, I can do that. So for those of you who are brand spanking new, oops, that's me. Good. To set up an auto email, just basically run a search for your client. So here we'll just go and run a quick search. So active in Irvine, we're looking for a price range of, I don't know, 950,000 to 1,200,000.
But Tony, I'm gonna ask you to go back and just click on the search button.
Oh,
And then as you know, the characters it takes in that.
That's true.
Quick search bar.
okay.
Thank
So we'll just take it from a regular search. So here, we're just going to run a regular detailed search. Maybe we're looking for active properties. We're going to choose our city, Irvine. We're going to put in our price range. Come on. 950 to 1.2. And then maybe we want at least 3 more bedrooms. Whoops. At least, and maybe, I don't know, a good square footage for around here, 1,600. Nope. Okay, we'll just take out the 1,600. How's that? All right. So here we get to our results. Now to set up an auto email, what I do not need to do is select properties. What an auto email allows us to do is send criteria on a regular basis to a client. So there's no need to select properties for the client. So instead, keep everything uncheckmarked, come down below to the bottom left-hand side, and next to where it says actions, we're going to click on the word save. When we click on save, we now got several choices under that, one of which is new auto email. When I click new auto email, I can now go through the process in setting up the auto email. Step number 1, we tie it to the client. Here we can access our contact list from the MLS that we've created for the client, if we've already created them. If not, because they're a brand new client, simply click on create new contact and then put the required information. Required information is first name, last name, email address. 3 key things we need to have in order to set up a client properties, right? So here we've got, let's see here. Put in their email address. From here, we can hit save. Down below, we notice here that we're automatically BCC'd on all of the emails. So there's no reason for you to put yourself as a CC. You're automatically copied. And because you're automatically copied, you automatically get all the agent reports, whereas the client gets the customer reports. From here, we're going to put in a subject. Now, subject line, we want to make stand out. How many of you have seen emails that look like junk? Anybody? Like, here are the properties that you don't want to miss out on. Or here are the properties that you requested. What's our first thing that we're going to think of? Junk. What do we do with junk mail? Delete. Delete or send it to junk, right? Block it. Here, what I would suggest, make your subject line stand out. So maybe, oops. Hey, Joffrey. Joffrey. Right? Give them a nice little hello and a reminder that this email is coming from me. Right? That subject line is going to have this versus them clicking on the email to see what that email is. So this is why I put that there. Next, the welcome email message. The welcome email message is very boilerplate, meaning that it's just a standard template, something simple to say. This is where we want to add things and personalize it. How we add information in, just simply click in the box and add in two major things. Number one, when you access the properties, you will need to create a user ID and password. Okay, so that's instruction number one. When you click on the properties in the email, you need to actually create a username and password. The boilerplate email doesn't say this. Okay, yes, sir.
Is there any way to change the default message on this so that it shows up that way every time you send it?
Well, no, unfortunately not. But what you're doing is you're changing it for that particular client because you may want to personalize it a little bit differently for each and every other client.
But you still need to create the account.
Still have to create.
Click on the card. They're like,
Yep. So that's the second instruction, right? This is where I love Word. So you could probably write a nice little email in Word and then literally copy and paste it into here for yourself. So that way you don't have to retype it over and over again. So the second instruction, if there are properties you like and want to see, then click the heart icon next to the homes to let me know.
So I assume the later dude is your own personal signature?
Yes, that's my own personal
That's not a
signature.
default, right?
Yeah, well, here under the edit signatures, this is where I can change the salutation or the ending, but yeah. I'm making everybody later, dude. You're all my friends because I believe in personal relationships at that point, right? So here what we can do is personalize the instructions. Now, also, next to the welcome email, we also have the reoccurring email message. Under the reoccurring email message, it's again very boilerplate. Here, put in your instruction. At least you don't have to put in the instructions to create an account. Just don't forget to click on the properties that you like by clicking on the heart icon. And that's pretty much it. Underneath that, how often are they to get the auto emails? Now you have a choice of 4 different things. Number 1 is the concierge mode. The concierge mode says that I have to go through the list of properties first to approve ones that they for sure should like. Now, this is good for those clients that have certain special needs. Now, what I mean by that is that maybe my client, Richard, has said, I want a property that's got a backyard with a west-facing flower bed. Now, if you think about that, how often is that something like that going to be typed in on a listing? Probably almost 0 to none, right? So that may require me to go through the list of 19 properties to try to check out to see if there's a possibility of, number 1, a backyard, maybe with a west-facing flower bed, and then select those. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing concierge mode for every client. The only caveat is you guys have such a busy day as it is. If you did this for every client, guaranteed you'd sit in your desk all day long just approving listings for the various clients. So I personally like to use the concierge mode for those special clients that have certain special needs that may or may not necessarily be typed on a listing for us to find those homes. Okay. Now, if it's not concierge mode, as soon as possible. As soon as possible says as soon as something meets the search criteria, an email is generated within 20 minutes to the client. Now, that could result in a lot of properties if there were 10 or 15 properties added on today, throughout the day. What happens, young lady, if a client gets maybe too many emails from us? What are they probably going to do? Avoid it, block it, more than likely, right? Do we want that? Not necessarily, but if anybody was around last year, as we were just saying before, last year, what, 8 days on market?
8 days, right?
And by April, it was actually less than 5 days on market. Back in 2013, we had the same problem, very low inventory, but it was a hot buyer's market or a hot seller's market. So buyers just were grabbing up properties before you can even really list it. So if we get into that type of market again, maybe as soon as possible is good. Or even better yet, maybe Joffrey has told me that based on work, he's got to move in 30 days or less. So obviously, getting properties quickly and easily or more efficiently should be the way to go. Now, if it's not that type of market, then maybe we look at daily. Daily right now says that you get 1 email a day in the morning around 6 a.m., give or take an hour or two. Or we can send 1 email a day in the evening around 6 p.m., give or take an hour or two. Or we can send them 2 emails a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Or even better yet, Joffrey has told me that he only looks at his emails once or twice a week. Well, what days of the week does Joffrey look at his emails? And we can select and get those properties to them around that time. The last choice here, monthly. Monthly says that they get 1 email at the month or at the first of the month at midnight. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking out in Cyberland, here in the office, why would I ever send somebody a monthly email? Well, 2 scenarios. Number 1, dealing with a buyer. Has anybody dealt with a buyer that says that they're not ready to buy right now for another 9 to 12 months? Anybody? A couple of us, right? And usually when we let them go and not want to pester them, we call them 9 months later. They said, oh, about 6 months ago, I bought a property. I wish I had remembered. What do? We kick ourselves, right? Well, why didn't you let me know? I didn't realize that you were still shopping around. Oh, yeah, it just happened to come up. So instead of it being a ice cold client, we send them a monthly email, an update. Hey, by the way, I'm still looking for properties for you, just in case. Still reach out to me. Because at that moment, between maybe now and 9 months from now, they might find something that I've sent them. And now they reach out to me because I've given them a reminder that I'm still working for them. Scenario 2, potential sellers. What's the one thing that we don't have? Inventory. Right? We're going on listing appointments, hopefully. But they're not ready to list right now. Maybe in that neighborhood, there's 2 or 3 active properties in that neighborhood. So there's some moving and shaking. Something like this would be great for a potential seller. I do a neighborhood market update to that seller. They don't need to see what's going on as soon as possible or during the, every day, just something monthly. Hey, by the way, here's a monthly update. Maybe at that most crucial moment when there's no active inventory in their neighborhood, they now reach out to me because they remember who I am and say, hey, maybe is this a good time to list? I see that there's no active homes for sale. Will I not have any competition? Can I get the most dollar at this point? And now we have that type of conversation. And before we know it, 2.5 million by mid-year. Knock on wood. Whatever schedule you all pick, based on what your client's needs are, come down below and hit save. After you've done that, within an hour, CRMLS will now send that welcome email message initially to the client, at which point when they click on view the properties, they will then be prompted to create a username and a password. And at that point, your schedule will kick off. Now that all important recent OneHome visitors kicks in, and you can start watching your clients access the properties. And before you know it, instead of only closing 2 or 3 deals a year, you're now closing 10, 12, maybe 20. Are there any questions on this?
Would you show us what the recipient is going to see?
Sure.
Thank you.
So when the recipient receives an email, they basically get an email that is titled how you've titled it. Okay, so here are the properties from your friendly agent, Anthony. Okay, here we'll say OneHome. And at this point, what my email message is, whether it's the welcome email or the recurring email message. Okay, they do get a little, they do get a little preview of 1 or 2 homes that are being highlighted. Now, usually the highlights are going to be closer to their matches if they've set up that property fit preferences. But if they haven't, it will give them anywhere from 1 to 3 homes to preview. Now, if they click on that property or click on the big blue button that says view all the properties, if this is their welcome email message, it will then immediately prompt them to create an account. That account ties this client to you. There's only one OneHome portal per email. So even if my client decided to work with this young lady, if she sends them an auto email, if they've already accessed mine, they'll get the properties that she's sending, but it will be tied back to me. So she's doing work for me inadvertently, even though I don't know that she sent them auto emails. So this is important why you want to get your clients set up to tie them to you, procuring cause, right? Or close to it. Now, at this point, it comes up to a hybrid mode of the properties, a nice little thumbnail, and of course, where they're placed on a map. Here they can like a property, dislike it, see where it's located, and then see if there's any open house data. They can click on this property to compare it to 2 other properties. So for a total of 3 to see how they side by side compare. Or they can then click on the property itself and open up the property. They can actually change their criteria, buy, rent. So look at their favorites. So every property that they've selected as their favorite, they can actually look at in and around the entire area, hopefully, if this comes up. So even if the property they favorited 2 years ago will come up here. Their planner, again, they can access some tasks, know what you can afford, get to know the process, set your home for preferences, and of course, sell your current home. These are all optional features, but this ties it back to you. You're informing them and educating them of what they could do. Not only are you out there showing properties, writing up contracts, but you're now an educator. Yes, sir.
You had mentioned only one person can have the, so if you sign someone up and don't know they were before, do you have any way of finding out?
No. Unfortunately, it will just send out the auto email. And then before you know it, if they go with another agent, it's a matter of who sent out the auto email first. That's where the MLS will track that. So, yeah, you got to be careful of that.
Okay.
I think you brought up a good point in regards to potential sellers, because you could actually, in the criteria, you could set up not only what is actively listed, but the closing activity at also for the last 30, 60 days. So the recipient can see that at some point in time, they may sell, and they could see the trend in the marketplace and you're in front of them.
Exactly. Exactly. I like that trend. I mean, it just helps you market yourself a little bit better. And I think you're solidifying that relationship of, hey, I'm just letting you know, what's going on. So
All your friends, family, everybody.
Everybody.
Why, if they own a home.
they
why
own a
wouldn't
home.
you?
And one of the nice things about reaching out to your sphere of influence, your past clients, get them to refer business. Well, how do you do that? You send them updates about their neighborhood, give them something, viable and educational about their market.
Yeah.
This is their largest ever owned asset. Maybe they need to downsize. Maybe they got into a bad loan And they're just being killed by the payments. What was it, 2 years ago? 73.8% of clients don't reuse their same agent. Why? Because they forgot that they were an agent. Yes, you're sending out greeting cards and anniversary cards and gift cards. All this money you're spending to client retention or retention, thank you. But they forget the more important part. Even though you're putting your business card in there, they open it up, the business card falls out, they lose it. They just see, oh, here's something from, John. That's great. Thanks, John, for the $50 gift card. You're my best friend. But when it comes time to sell, I forget John's part of the real estate community. I just look at John as my secondary bank account. All right? Gas cards, dinner out, movie night. He's got to give me something of substance. Any questions on this? Looks pretty simple. All right. There are no other questions. I want to thank everybody, Cyberland and here. If you do have any questions, feel free to call me or email me. My email is Tony, Tony, @ocrealtors.org, or you can reach me at 949-586-6800 extension 104. That's it. Have a great day. My extension is 104. And then did you want to say anything, any goodbyes or anything? Or no, to the masses. To the masses, Richard.
Thank you for coming, everybody. Does anyone have any questions or any comments they would like to make? No, and if you have clients looking for a home, you should be contacting Sarah Menchaca. She's going to help you with financing. So it's obviously very critical in regards to your search. So keep that in mind. And then we'll see you next week.
All right.
Thanks,
I will see
everybody.
you next week.
You
in a
won't.
month.
Miss out, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Okay.